This is Flat Out Agility, an Australian agility podcast. I'm Grace. Agility routines are intentional patterns we craft that help both our dogs and ourselves get focused and find flow. These routines reduce uncertainty by telling us what's coming next and help us feel ready. For us handlers, routines can help anchor our nerves and create mental checkpoints. For our dogs, routines can help create clarity and manage their arousal. Routines are especially important for trialing. Trialing is a high-stress activity with lots of dogs and people around, lots of noise, and lots of arousal. Predictable routines can help your dog navigate these environments by providing a familiar thread through the volatility. Dogs thrive on predictability and look for patterns in their world. We can use this predisposition to make things easier for them. Routines can help regulate arousal by both bringing the dog up when you need it and cueing them to calm back down. Routines can do the same for us, reducing our anxiety by providing a predictable pattern. The routine tells us, we know what happens next. We've done this before. This creates connection in the partnership where both handler and dog can anticipate actions and perform together. To my mind, there are 4 types of routines that are useful for agility: the warm-up, start line, post-run, and cool-down. These don't need to be long, complex routines. Warm-ups and cool-downs should be at least 5 minutes, but the start line and post-run routine will probably only be a minute or 2 total. So let's talk about warm-up routines first. This routine has 2 purposes: to physically prepare yourself and your dog for agility, and to mentally transition from a rest state to a work state. Warm-up routines should incorporate basic exercises that get the body moving and ready to perform, bringing up the heart rate and arousal state. Ideally, it's best to craft a warm-up routine with help from a canine fitness professional, whether that's in person or online. The basic exercises required for a warm-up are pulse-raising cardio activities, mobility exercises for the joints, and dynamic stretches. These exercises gradually increase body temperature, heart rate, flexibility, and blood flow. For an agility dog, you're looking to replicate the kinds of movements that they'll be required to perform in their run, like running, turning, jumping, and balancing. The warm-up routine should be more than 5 minutes to ensure your dog's body is ready for the high-intensity activity of agility and should occur shortly before your competition run. Likewise, you should think about a warm-up routine for yourself. Agility is high intensity for people too, and the same principles apply. You need to prepare your own body for high-intensity running and quick movements. If you are at an agility trial that goes all day and you're entered in multiple runs throughout, you will need to do your warm-up routine roughly every hour, or if there's a gap, before your next round of activity. You don't necessarily need to do it before every run. If you have a couple of runs within a shorter time frame, you can do it just once. The next routine for trialing is the start line routine, or I've also heard it called crate to gate routine. This routine is for building focus and connection between you and your dog right before you start your run. It helps with managing the external distractions and internal emotions while waiting your turn. This routine is about increasing arousal but maintaining focus. Its purpose is to prime handler and dog for the optimal flow state while running. This routine is more about the mental game, so the exercises should be tailored specifically to what works for you and your dog. This includes the way you get to the ring, what you do while you wait, how you enter the ring, how you remove the leash, and what your start line behaviours are. A consistent start line routine can also help you breach the gap between training and trialling for your dog by introducing a clear chain of cues that tell your dog what to expect in a trial environment. My ideal start line routine includes me walking my dog calmly to the ring, pre-placing my dog's tug somewhere safe, waiting our turn, doing a couple of quick engagement checks, entering the ring, removing the leash, asking for a stay, and then starting our run. I want my dog to be excited and in a high state of arousal, but not so much that she can't focus on me or is in any way verging into a distressed state. The next routine is for when you've finished your run. This is probably the shortest of them all, but still important. Its purpose is reinforcement, connection, and recovery. You want to work out how you will get your dog back on leash, out of the ring, and to their reinforcement cleanly while maintaining connection as you move through the steps. This routine is important to start the process of lowering arousal back down from the high of the run. My ideal post-run routine is to smoothly leash up my dog and leave the ring directly to a pre-placed tug before heading away from the ring entirely for the final routine, the cool down. The cool down is for bringing your dog's arousal state all the way down to calmness, as well as providing physical recovery. The cool down is important for emotional and physical regulation. It tells the dog that the high intensity activity is over for now and it's time to rest. This routine is also important for handlers to cool themselves down and practice mindfulness after a run and not spiral if the performance didn't go as planned. It's about coming back to a base state ready for the next spike of arousal. The two most basic exercises in a cool down are walking and static stretching. Going from the post-run routine straight into a walk is really beneficial, as it gives you and your dog time to reset before returning to your spot. A cool down lowers risk of soreness and stiffness, brings heart rate and blood flow back down to baseline, and clears out the lactic acid buildup from intense activity. So these are the agility routines, but how do you craft them? I like to write down ideas for what each step in each routine would be. This doesn't need to be formal, it's just a starting point with all the things that might work for you and your dog. For the warm-up and cool-down routines particularly, it's worth getting some professional help for what exercises you will include to ensure you're doing them correctly and safely. But if you can't get access to the ideal situation, there are lots of resources online that can help. Just make sure the resources are being provided by a trained professional. Once you've got your list of individual parts of each routine, you can teach each one separately. Start at home because it's an easy environment. Each step needs to be broken down to small parts before steps are put together. When you've started putting your sequence together in a predictable pattern, you can practice it in new environments that aren't agility related. This helps to generalize the behavior chain and make it strong before you bring it into agility. Next, you can bring it to your agility training environment and make sure the routine is working well before eventually transplanting it to trials. Consistency across environments means your dog expects the same outcomes in training and competition. Agility routines need to be predictable, but they also need to be flexible. Trials in particular can be chaotic, so you need to have a plan for when things don't go to plan. You've got to be able to reconfigure parts of your routine on the fly to meet your dog's needs. You want to ensure your dog trusts you to keep control of things and make decisions in their best interest. Having a couple of extra exercises that you can swap, or having an idea of how to adapt your exercises when you have less time or less space, can help. And finally, it's important to evaluate your routines to make sure they're actually working for you and your dog. You'll need to set some goals for what you want to get out of your routines, and then observe whether you are meeting them. Do you notice an improved performance? Does your dog seem calmer and more in control? Do you feel like runs go smoother? If you're not seeing any improvements at all, you may need to reassess your routines and make changes. Routines can teach us that repetition isn't boring, it's grounding, and that a dog that knows what comes next is a dog that feels safe to give you everything they've got. Over time, routines become rituals, an opportunity to build connection and trust with our dogs through that repetition and care. Our routines are a way of saying to our dogs, this is how we do things, together. So build your routines with intention and with kindness. Let them be flexible and reflect who you and your dog are as a team. And trust that in the rhythm of your shared habits, you will both find the flow out there together. This has been Flat Out Agility. Be kind to dogs.